Good evening and welcome to Catholic Peekskill. I'm so glad you could be with us. I'm Father John Higgins, your host for this public access television show, and I'm also the pastor of Assumption Church. In this program, we try to bring you things of interest that relate to our Catholic faith and the city of Peekskill. The recent popes, including Pope Francis, have asked the church to use even modern means of communication to be placed at the service of the gospel. We're happy to do that here at Catholic Peekskill, and so glad you could be with us. One of the wonderful new initiatives that's taking place at our church is a new wave of youth ministry. And in recent months, built on an accumulation of wonderful events that have taken place with our young people, we've started a new youth group. And even more recently, that youth group has broken into two new youth groups. The middle school group is called the Edge Group. They meet on Saturday nights, and their leaders are here. The youth group for high school teenagers called Lifeteen meets on Thursday evenings, and those leaders are here well. And I'm so glad to welcome here Blanca and Janet, Antoinette and Donna. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Father.
From the very beginning, it was really Blanca you were the one who originally were leading this, working very closely with Father Vincent after the accumulation of lots of great events. Maybe, Blanca, you could tell us a little bit about your background and how it was that you got involved in this youth ministry at Assumption Church.
Yes, thank you, Father John, for this wonderful opportunity, not only for myself, but for everybody who is here. And this beautiful opportunity also give it to the boys for these youth kids in Peekskill, especially the Spanish community and the other parts, other communities and other cultures also in here, and different English speakers and bilingual also. And I am from Ecuador. I came in from Ecuador 18 years ago. I'm stable here with my husband, and I have 3 sons. My 3 sons here, but the other one I have in Ecuador. He's 21, and I have other one. He's 15 years old, and my third one is 11, and the other one, the last one, is 7 years old. And I say thank you again, Father John, and thank you so much to Father Vincent to open this great opportunity to myself and my family also to share in the parish and do volunteer help and for the parish and help this beautiful opportunity to help the others and involve my sons and my family together. So I start to help Father Vincent in different events and different opportunity for the kids to share or have some different events for New York City or some events for, he organized for different things. So little to little, we start with the small groups and we take some few kids for different events, March Pro Lives and different things. And that's why we started, and I say again, in the small groups, but this coming year on year a little more and more. So that's why now we see a very good group and a lot of kids interested in coming and share with everybody and the different opportunities.
Now, I know it only started just a few months ago. You mentioned a number of different groups. What was your experience like those first few weeks when the kids were coming together on Saturday nights at 6:30? Was it challenging?
Yeah, amazing. And the first day when I see the kids coming,
there was a lot of kids there.
Yes, almost 75 kids the first night.
Wow.
So when I see these kids coming in the doors, I start to cry and I say, this is the tent what we have for these kids here, because I heard yesterday about Pope Francis. He said this is the family. You know, we need to work like a family together. So I feel like, you know, when the kids come in, say like the family, we receive the family coming to visit in the parish. So I see the kids walk in, and I saw the faces when come in. So I feel so, you know, I touch my heart a lot.
I know that from my experience, they come in, they get a free meal prepared with love and
Yes.
culinary skills.
Yes.
And there's an icebreaker, a chance to have real fun. It's not like they're always just being preached at, but they have time to interact and have fun and play games and learn about the Lord.
Yes, yes, that's the combination I very like, because the kids is very interesting to come in to share in different environment, because usually in the schools or in other places have the kids has other learning other different stuff, different things, sometimes in good ways, sometimes in bad ways. But here in the church is different, because we receive and we give to these kids love and learning about God and the faith. And yeah.
So I know, as you were saying, Blanca, that we started in April of 2015, earlier this year, and it was largely events based before that. And I know that now the EDGE group, which is the middle school with you and Janet, are working on together as the adult leaders. Janet, you came a little bit later in the game. Maybe you could tell a little bit about yourself, and I know it was through Camp Veritas, how that was the entryway for your involvement in youth ministry.
So prior to Camp Veritas, Father Vincent asked me to join the group and be a server. And I kind of thought he was a little out of his mind, because I didn't know why. And I joined the group, and it was the best thing ever. It's just amazing to see their faces come in, and just as they transform, they're like flowers. And all the petals are slowly opening, and it's just amazing to me. It touches my heart every time. So the Camp Veritas event, 1 week sleepaway camp, essentially, about 600 kids or so. And once again, you know, they come in as one child almost. I say child, it's middle school and high school. But a couple of days in, you just see a transformation process, and even sometimes physically. And we had a couple of girls that, you know, maybe dressed a little bit not so modest, so to speak, or bright red lipstick, just small things like that, who by the middle of the week were dressing maybe a little bit more modestly, or not hiding behind the makeup anymore. And I had one young girl tell me that she came the year before, and she goes, I didn't come for the right reasons. She goes, I came, I wanted to hang out with my friends. It wasn't about God. And she said that, and she goes, I wasn't a nice person. She goes, in fact, I was mean. And she said, but during the healing procession, she said she just cried and cried uncontrollably. And she said she really felt the Lord touching her. And she said you could feel the presence, and almost that like love, you could feel it almost like it was tangible. And it just changed her entirely. And she came back this year, and she basically said, I'm here, yeah, I want to hang out with my friends and I want to see them, but I'm really here to have a better relationship with God, to get to know Him and evolve forward in that capacity.
I know that it's always been about that, helping the young people to meet God
Yes.
with each other in community.
And so letting God do His work with them.
Beautiful. And then after Camp Veritas, you were full-time on.
I was sold. Camp Veritas was amazing. I love the group. It's, you know, I'm proud of the group. It means so much to me.
Beautiful.
It really does. I can't say enough wonderful things about it.
Thank you, Jen and Blanca. So I know that it started off with high school and middle school together, and then it was helpful to divide the older kids from the younger kids, because their needs are different.
Yes, and the different age also. So that's a different style. Well, how we receive the word from God is different. So that's why we separate. And
so the two groups became the EDGE group, which is middle school, which now you lead up, both of you, Janet and Blanca. And then also for yourselves, Donna and Antoinette, that it's only more recently that we've had that decision. Donna, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and how it was that you got involved in this ministry.
Sure. Thank you, Father. I was born and raised in Peekskill. Went to Assumption School, as did my father. And I just feel so at home at the Assumption Parish. I did leave it for a little while, but came back happily. I sort of felt a calling from Jesus, and I wasn't sure what he wanted from me, but I think I know now. I think it's working with the youth, and it's brought me closer to him. Lifeteen is a Eucharist-based program, and the emphasis is on the Lord. And the kids have grown spiritually, and I think we as adults have as well.
Yeah. So, what was your first experience with this youth group? Did you come to the original meetings? Did you chaperone?
Yes.
Did you relate that way?
Yes, I
What was
went on
that
a
like?
trip. I went on a trip first and was a chaperone. And then Father Vincent invited me to be part of the EDGE group. So I was there from day one, very nervous, because I haven't worked with young people in quite a while. But they were great. They were really great.
They make it easy.
They do. They do.
Yeah. And how was the launch of Lifeteen? Were you satisfied with the turnout and with the? Tell me
Very
what it was
much
like.
so.
I know it was just recently this
Yes, it was
division
just a
took
few
place.
weeks ago, yeah. We had over 40 teens come to the launching, and for high school on a Thursday evening, I thought that was a great turnout. And we have, our program is, for any given month, for example, we'll have 2 sessions of learning, catechesis nights, and then we'll have a social night, as well as a night that we work on or we talk about issues that are happening in the world.
And so I know recently we had the Pope's visit. I know that Antoinette also was involved in that. Maybe Antoinette, you're also involved in Lifeteen, the high school group with Donna. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a medical doctor underneath all this. Tell us about your background and how it was that you tagged on here.
Thank you, Father. I am a pediatrician by trade, although I am retired now, taking care of my own children at home. I have 3, a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And initially, I got started, I guess, way back planning the March for Life trips. For the past 3 years, we've taken a bus full of youth, 56 of our 8th graders through high schoolers on the trip to Washington, D.C. every January for the March for Life on an overnight trip. And that has been amazing. I mean, we see kids who sometimes may initially come because they want to get out of school or go on a trip with their friends, who come back changed after 2 days. It's a long trip, it's arduous, there's a lot going on, they're tired, but they're happy and exhausted, and they come back transformed. They come back on fire, praying into the cause for life, advising some of their friends who may have been seeking abortions or had a crisis pregnancy. We've had that happen with a couple of our kids as a result of the March for Life, that they were able to now advise their friends to choose life. That has just been amazing and rewarding. And I guess I got involved when Father Vincent mentioned that he was going to start a youth group. My daughter, who's 15, was all gung-ho about joining. And I thought this would be a great thing to do with her. Like, I'd help, and she'd go, and we would sort of do something together. And that was the hook for me. Just seeing the kids come back week after week, wanting to come back. The same faces, like they were curious. They are hungry. They want to know more about the Lord, and they want to have fun too. So we're not hitting anyone over the head with catechesis. They're coming because they want to come. They're hungry. They want to talk about issues that are important to them. They want to be challenged. And they love Jesus, and they want to know him better. And it's just been, I was involved with EDGE from the beginning when it started last April. And just seeing some of the same kids who have come week after week as they opened up and become closer to the Lord and learned how to pray and learned how to advise their other kids or just open up about their problems. It's just so important. we took them Thursday night to an event in the city for Eucharistic adoration and to watch a simulcast of the Pope praying evening prayer at St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Tell us about that, because I know our viewers may not realize we're recording this immediately after Pope Francis' visit to New York. Tell us about
so
that
this
experience.
this was just a few days ago, and it was a spur-of-the-moment trip. So we had 2 days to round together a bunch of teens to get them out of school, to get their parents' permission, the school's permission, and to take a long trip down into the city for an hour of adoration and praying in front of our Eucharistic Lord. And then there was a simulcast screening of the Pope and all the cardinals and the priests and the religious sisters praying in St. Patrick's Cathedral. And we were praying along with the Pope at the same time. And it just, I think everybody was so touched by that, oh, here we are. And everybody, the Catholic world is more than just our world in Peekskill. And we are part of a bigger community, a broader community. And I think that's so important for the kids. As in my work as a pediatrician, I saw how isolated kids could be, the pressures they face from today's society, in school, through TV, through social media, through bullying. And sometimes they feel so alone. And this gives them an opportunity to relate to other people and to say, I'm not alone. There are people who share my faith. There are people who encourage me in my faith and will help me grow. And it's so important, even for us as adults to get that, that charge that we get from realizing that we are part of something that billions of people believe in Jesus Christ and are praying to Jesus Christ, that we are part of something so much bigger, and that we were praying with God's representative here on earth. That was just amazing. And then there was a fun concert afterwards, which they all loved, and they all came back in my car begging me to play the songs and singing out loud at the top of their lungs until they fell asleep.
Beautiful.
So it's just been so amazing to watch and to see them trust and to see them feel like they have a place to go.
One common thread that I'm seeing in both your experience and all of your experiences with this youth ministry is the privileged seat that you have to see when Christ touches the heart of a young person. And I'm wondering, maybe there's specific events or examples you could share, because perhaps some parents will be watching this as well, or kids who might come to it. I open it to anyone who could share a story about maybe a young person who felt the Lord touching through the ministry that is going on at Assumption Church. Does anything come to you?
Well, when we were on our trip to Steubenville at St. Vincent's, right? St. Vincent's University in Queens, I saw a transformation of quite a few kids, actually.
Now that event, that was Steubenville, New York City.
That's right.
Named after the university in
Arizona, I believe.
It's in
Ohio?
Steubenville, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have a New York event.
Yes.
And how many kids? Tell us about that experience.
There
Donna.
were over 1,800 teens attending. From our group, I would say maybe 50 teens went, and several, adults along with them. And it was a national level. The speakers were at a national level. The music, the inspiring music. It was just a beautiful retreat, 3-day retreat.
So what was the experience for the kids?
I'm sorry, yes,
Yeah.
I got us away from it. One in particular said that he was considering the priesthood after the weekend. So that was really inspiring, and that was one of the male teens, and one of the female teens said that she was considering, a religious life as well. So it was beautiful to see,
Beautiful. Thank you. And I know we're always interested that the group continue to grow and flourish. Maybe to ask Blanca, if there is a young person there watching this, what would you say to them? What encouragement would you give? What benefit would they get from being able to come to Edge? And then I'll maybe ask the same question to Donna, the advantage for Lifeteen.
Yes, thank you. And I can say everybody who see this program, especially the teens who watch this program also, to come to the parish and And since the kids come in and receiving everything what the most one we want to give it to them, we want to give it to them love, and we want to give it to them and a good place, a good place to stay together, and again share together, love together, and make a good relationship and friends, and stay the relationship like a friend relation with God together also. So making a good relation, good relation, and friends want each other, because it's includes respect, love, and trust in God, and trust in good friends, and choice, good friends also in the same environment area, especially in this group.
Thank you. Thank you, Blanca. Maybe Donna, and feel free to join in as well, Antoinette. What would you say? Should I come? If a teenager comes up to you and says, "Should I come?" What's?
I would say definitely yes. Please. Give
Why?
us
Why
a
should I?
chance.
Why should I come?
I just want to say that the greatest gift that I ever received in my life was my faith. We all go through trials and tribulations in our lifetimes, and I just want to pass that along to the young people. I think His Holiness Pope Francis recently said that we should absolutely pass on, the faith and our knowledge of Jesus to the young people, to future generations. And so I hope they come to the youth group where they can learn a little bit more about God, be with their friends as well as some adults that can help guide them along with their parents.
Would you add anything to that, Doctor?
Yeah, I think it's also, we don't force anyone to come. I think kids come because they love it, and I think they know that we care about them. We're all old enough to be their parents, and they may be like, well, why do I want to go listen to them? We really care, and I don't think it's an age thing to be able to relate and to show people that you care and that you love them. And it's great to see the friendships form between the kids who were there, who didn't know each other before. And my daughter didn't really know anyone, and now she sees people and they hug each other. And when she's not there, well, where were you? They're all keeping track of each other. And God is becoming part of their lives. It's not something that is now, they're learning how to make it part of their everyday lives, like breathing or eating. Something that you don't think about, but something that is there and that affects how you interact with other people. We're not there to just preach and give a lesson or a lecture to. We're there to have them become part of their souls, and part of what they radiate to other people. Because that's how you spread the gospel. People look at you, and if you're happy and if you have faith and they just see that, people want that because people want to be happy. And to just realize that it's not things that make you happy, it's God that makes you happy and gives you peace no matter what else is going on in your lives. And I think for all of the challenges that kids face today, that peace inside, no matter what is going on in the world around them, is so important, that interior peace. And I think they're craving that. And I think that's why they come back, because it's a safe place.
Maybe similarly asked a similar question to Janet. I know I was thinking of the anecdote from St. John Bosco. Who's the master of youth ministry, and someone asked, "What's your secret?" And he answered with one word. He said, "Love." The kids who come to the Edge group, have you seen it, or have you seen that kind of love in them, and will they get that at the Edge group?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and not only from us, but to each other, to one another. It starts with us, and they see how we receive them, and they're just evolving, and then they in turn, they're giving it back to us. Sometimes I'm not so sure who's receiving more, me or them. But they learn to receive it, they're learning to give it. It's just an amazing experience for them, and they would agree with it.
I've seen it with my own eyes. I know another quotation from St. John Bosco. What's the key to this? I mean, he said love, but is there anything else? And he said, yes, a warm welcome. And I want to congratulate you for the warm welcome I've seen you give.
A hug and a kiss.
They're always welcome, and they feel welcomed and loved. I think what's so beautiful also is that the youth ministry that you're providing is integrated into the life of the whole parish. I mean, so that catechesis should work together with youth ministry. And in a sense, we do youth ministry all the time, even when we greet a family that has young people as they leave church. And Donna, you shared an anecdote recently about someone who came to the youth group who was not even baptized. What was that like?
That's right. You know, it was a surprise. It was a surprise that he hadn't been baptized, but he sort of was a little rough around the edges in the beginning, and there were, by the way, there's so many more volunteers than the four of us here
Sure.
that help us out, the other servers, and you know, he was just spoken to and given love, as we said, and by the end of the night, he was a changed person, and I understand that he did come to the RCIA group today, and I'm hoping that he's going to pursue that. Yeah, he's on his way.
Well, from the bottom of my heart, as the pastor of Assumption Church, I want to thank you. You know, when St. John Paul II, who also had a great gift with young people, would speak to them, he said, "You are my hope. You are the future of the church." And thank you for forming the future and the very present of the church. And I want to thank our television audience also for joining us in being with us for Catholic Peekskill. If you're coming, I want to invite you, if middle school, to come on Saturday nights at 6:30, and for high school kids at 7:30 on Thursday nights. And if you're there, I'd like you to, at Mass, why not tap us on the shoulder and say you saw us in Catholic Peekskill. God bless you, everybody. Good night. Thanks for joining us at Catholic Peekskill.
Hosanna in excelsis, Hosanna in excelsis.